If you're African American and you ever been stopped by the police, then you definitely need to listen to this episode of Attention Deficit Hood Analysis. What's going on, Hood Nation? Oh, yeah, we in the building. This is the most disturbed podcast on the planet, Attention Deficit Hood Analysis. I'm DJ Hood Shaka, the world rocker, the man with an intellectual master plan. And listen, right now I'm delivering another episode of Attention Deficit Hood Analysis. And listen, I'm talking about a subject that's very controversial. You understand what I'm saying? But I think it's a conversation that we need to have. You know, I believe that if you're to ever have faith in the American criminal justice system as an African-American male, then guess what? It depends on understanding that everyone is obeying an established rule. Although I have never experienced it. I'm talking about never, ever. You know, like I said, I've never experienced it, but I'm almost certain that many police departments and police officers make a decent effort to operate within the rule of law and are against police corruption. But like I said, my personal experience with law enforcement has always been negative. And that's unfortunate for me. But hey, you know, it is what it is. Look, law enforcement, when they have interacted with me, they have been super aggressive and they do things that dehumanize you. It's like they always treat you like a criminal, even when they're totally in the wrong. Now, one thing I noticed that even when they're in the wrong, they never admit to fault. They never say that they wrong. They just be silent. You know, it just, that really kills me. You know, they understand that Fifth Amendment, I guess. You know what I'm saying? Now, look, I live in America, and it's a country that's devastated by deaths and injuries of thousands of people. And unfortunately, many of those people are unarmed and they're African American. You know, so they're black. And a lot of times they die at the hands of police officers. I think that this excessive force by police is more than a little disturbing, especially since it disproportionately impacts people of color. I personally think that drastic changes are needed in the approach to public safety in this country. You know, I hear on YouTube a lot about how people are supposed to just be compliant. You know, I always read in the comments, say, just be compliant, just do what they say, just do what they say. And I want to let it be known that the law is set up in a way that you are supposed to comply with a lawful order given to you by like a public safety officer. But a lot of times, from my experience and what I have seen, they're not giving you lawful orders. What happens is something major happens or something minor happens, and that law enforcement officer feels some type of way. And it seems like they feel like you're disrespecting their authority or diminishing their authority. And then they punish you for that perceived disrespect. You know, they're trying to prove a point to say, hey, I'm in charge. You're going to do what I say. And I'm the law right now, and it's whatever I say. But you're really not the law. What you're a public safety officer, and you are enforcing the law. But you have to know the law. And a lot of times it seems as if they don't know the law. But like I said, that's just my personal experience with these individuals. Moving on, I want to say this. I am a supporter of personal accountability in this world for law-abiding citizens, for criminals, and even for a law enforcement, especially for law enforcement. We have to have personal accountability. So if you're a criminal, you got to have accountability. If you're a regular civilian, you got to have accountability. You know, as a law-abiding citizen, you know, the rules and regulations still apply. And as a law enforcement agent, officer, police, whatever you want to call it, that category, you have to have personal accountability. They're supposed to be held to a higher standard anyway, because they have taken an oath to serve and protect. And I also believe that we need to strengthen the relationship between law enforcement agencies and the communities that they're supposed to serve. Okay, so with that being said, I'm going to be talking about things that you need to do at a traffic stop or when you are stopped by the police. I think that it might be possible to improve the outcome of a traffic stop or being stopped by the police. You know, if you listen to this right here. So when the police is pulling you over, that law enforcement individual does not, I'm going to say this again, that law enforcement person does not know you. You know what I'm saying? They do not know you. You know, that's just how it works. So when a police officer is pulling you over, since they don't know you, look, these officers, they have to prepare their mind for common and uncommon possibilities. They don't know you, so I think it's best if you do your best to think and just play it cool. I think you should just be logically cooperative and not say more than needed. So don't talk more than necessary. You know, you just have to be logical and you have to be cooperative. So I'm going to say logically cooperative. You know, I know that sounds crazy, but hey, man, it is what it is. Ride with me, though. You understand what I'm saying? Listen, I'm going to talk about a couple of things that you need to do when you're stopped by the police. So when you see those flashing red and blue lights behind you, take a deep breath just like that, you know, and immediately start slowing down. Put your turn signal on. I think it's the law that you're supposed to turn over to the right. You pull over to the right. Yeah. So put your right turn signal on. You find a spot to pull over where the officer can safely conduct a traffic stop. Now, when you have stopped, turn on your hazard lights. Yeah, I know ain't nobody ever told you that, but look, when you have stopped, turn on your hazard lights. Turn off your radio and turn off the ignition of your car. Now, if it's night, then I need you to do this. I want you to turn your overhead light on. You know, that makes sense? So like I said, if it's dark outside, if it's night, turn the overhead light on. You got me? Look, you stay in your vehicle with your seatbelt on. You roll your window down at least 3 inches and keep your hands visible on the steering wheel. And listen, I know I shouldn't have to say this, but listen, I got to say it, family. Do not reach for anything until that officer asks for it. That approaching officer does not know if you're reaching for an insurance card. They don't know if you're reaching for a gun. That officer is not in your damn mind. So stay logical, stay cool with your movements. Now, if it's me, when I'm getting pulled over, look, I always have my insurance card, my license, and my registration in like an easy, accessible place. So as soon as I'm pulled over, I already know, and I already got my stuff. So before the police even walk up to me and walk up to my car, and guess what? It's right there, dog. I already got it in my hand with my hands on the steering wheel. Yeah, that's right, baby. Stay ready so you don't have to get ready. You feel me? So anyway, when the police officer says something to you, even if it's in an aggressive manner, just stay cool, man. Stay cool. You can't lose. Just stay cool. These officers sometimes have all types of things going on in their life, just like you, just like me. So you just got to stay cool. And I can't stress enough on how you just need to stay cool. But look, let me tell you this. If there's any risk that you could be charged with anything serious, then what you need to do is invoke your right to remain silent. Don't be talking, man. Just be quiet. Don't be trying to argue with the officer. When I say stay cool, listen, you gotta stay cool. When talking to the officer, be straightforward when speaking. This officer is not your friend. So don't be volunteering information and don't be admitting to things. When that officer asks you, do you know why I pulled you over? Then you need to calmly respond, I cannot think of any reason I should have been pulled over. Now, if you know you were speeding like crazy, then I would be like, I might have been speeding, but hey, that's just me. You know what I'm saying? Because look, I'll sprinkle a little money on that lawyer and make the charge magically go away. You know what I'm saying? So that charge won't go against my license. But that, like I said, that's just how I do things, you know. So when that officer asks for your license, registration, and proof of insurance before you make a move, then what I need you to do is I need you to tell them what you're going to do next. In other words, if your registration and proof of insurance are in the glove box or in the sun visor, then tell the officer that you're going to reach into the glove box or that you're getting ready to reach up toward the sun visor for those items. You know, I hope that makes sense. Other than providing these items, you are under no obligation to answer any questions. You don't have to submit to any roadside field sobriety test, nor do you have to consent to a search. Now, a lot of times what they'll do is that they'll try to make conversation with you. And then they'll try to casually slip in. Oh, you know, how you doing? Where you going? Hey, can I search your vehicle? You got any weapons on you? Man, don't make no conversation with these people. They're not your friends, man. You know what I'm saying? They're not your friends. Stop trying to have a conversation thinking that, oh, they're going to think you good. No, man. No, woman. But if they, okay, so let me talk about something else. If the police order you to step out of your vehicle, you have to comply. You know, I keep seeing people on YouTube and I see a lot of places on the internet where people think that they can ignore a lawful order. Well, you can't. Even if you think it's not right, you know, then you still have to comply. You know, if you receive a citation, all you got to do, stay cool, take the ticket, and hopefully you can drive off from the traffic stop. I keep telling you over and over, stay cool, man. Stay cool. Don't be emotional and start arguing and complaining and being rude because that will not improve the situation. I understand that being stopped is like a stressful situation and it can go bad really quickly. So I'm trying to give you a survival strategy when you encounter the police because I've been through so many negative experiences. So let me say this. This is not an opinion. This is how things are structured. The de-escalation of force is supposed to be done by the police. But we live in a time where you cannot trust that. You can't depend on the people that's supposed to be held to a higher standard. So never assume that a police officer will behave in a way that protects your safety or that they will respect your rights, even when you know your rights and express your rights. You might be able to reduce risk to yourself by staying calm, not showing that you're frustrated, not being hostile, because creating hostility creates hostility. Let me say that again. Creating hostility creates hostility. So if you hostile and you angry and you addressing that individual in a hostile, angry way, most of the times you're going to get that same energy. You understand what I'm saying? Look, there are many times, though, when you do everything right and this stuff still end up in a bad space. So you got to know your local law and You need to know your rights. That's why I always salute Colin Kaepernick. And while we at it, he was talking about this issue when it was not popular. So I'm tired of all these businesses talking about we stand with black and brown people and we believe in inclusiveness. Man, we don't believe you. But anyway, the fact remains that black and brown people have a different experience with the police than white people do. That's just how it is. Black and brown people, statistically, they get stopped more because of their skin color. Even though racial profiling is illegal, they get stopped more. And statistically now, black and brown people are more likely to be detained, handcuffed, searched. They're more likely to have police point guns at them. And these encounters are not just stressful. They're not just stressful. And too many events have shown that these encounters can be super deadly. I'm doing this podcast because I want you to know that you have constitutional rights and civil rights during police interactions. So you can hear someone that comes from where you come from, who grew up like you. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes when you are constantly victimized, and you're on minority status, I know this is going to sound crazy, but it's like you forget that you're human. You forget that you're supposed to be treated with dignity and respect. You just accept certain behavior because you feel like you have no power in the position and in a lot of these situations. But I want you to know that you do have power and you have constitutional and legal rights. Now, even though you have legal rights, I need you to always, just remain calm in situations and in life. Understand that situations are never perfect, but you have to use good, sound, logical judgment in these encounters with law enforcement. If a law enforcement officer starts acting in an aggressive way towards you, guess what? It might not be wise and it might not even be safe to be asserting your rights in that moment. If you believe your rights are violated, then, you have to go through a specific process. Of course, you got to file a complaint against the police or the law enforcement officer. But you got to do that after you're out of the potentially harmful situation. Now, I know that sounds fucked up. I get it. You know what I'm saying? But I'm trying to get you to think about your life and understand that your life is more important. That's just how it is. So I need you to be an individual who makes an assessment. You got to have emotional regulation, guard those emotions. You feel me? You know what? I might do another episode about what to do, do's and don'ts. When you get stopped by law enforcement. I might have to do that right there. You know what I'm saying? But listen, this has been another episode, of Attention Deficit Hood Analysis. I need you to do me a favor. Support me on all platforms. If you're on Instagram, Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, if you're on YouTube, subscribe to the channel. DJ Hood Shaka. If you're on Instagram, I'm DJ Hood Shaka up there. Like me on there. If you're on Facebook, I need you to like me. I really need this social media support. And I also want you to support me on Patreon. That's right. Patreon.com/DJ Hood Shaka. Look, I'm trying to build something that I call the Shockwave Podcast Studios. My vision, though, is to have a studio where there are multiple podcast stations where voiceover talents and everybody who got talent and who want to be in podcasting can come to that studio and they can just showcase their talent for free. You understand what I'm saying? So look, help me make my dream a reality. So I really need your support. So support me on all social media platforms. I'm your man, DJ Hood Shaka, the world rocker, the man with an intellectual master plan. Until the next episode, I need you to stay focused, stay safe, and support the hood. You feel me? Boom!